All right, let's get into the saga here, boys. The Napier. Instead of homecoming weekend, could it be going away weekend? We alluded to this on Sunday a bit, or excuse me, Monday with Stephen Harris as this that presser felt like it was a goodbye presser. We were hearing rumblings in our Discord that Sunday is D-Day, regardless of the outcome on Saturday. And now it seems like the you know the big media, if you will, is starting to get behind that. Let's start with the Pate one, and then we'll get into Graham Hall, and then we'll get into some, obviously Twitter and people that are connected and have their own sources. They're making funny posts. I did some of my reaching out to ask, and there was like, yeah, this is what it sounds like. It feels very recruit like, hey, are we getting this cat? And everyone's like, yeah. And then it comes to National Signing Day, and we may or may not get him. So it feels weird. Like it feels like literally like a going away, like a retirement party. I've never seen this happen before where like everyone knows this is his last day. And maybe this is kind of, but in the same breath, because we know of the relationship and we've heard so many good like things about like how people love Napier, like we're not going to blindside this guy. We trust this guy where we're going to just inform him like, hey dude, like this is it. I want you to just go out there and, you know, it feels weird. We've never seen it, but now when you kind of the James Franklin situation, when you see how he acted after the Northwestern game, it's almost like he knew it was coming too. So maybe there is that how nothing ever stays under wraps. It feels like for Florida is crazy. Like this seems like something that probably should have been kept behind closed doors. If we're being honest, is it the new world that we're in? A little bit of that, yes, but also I feel like Florida stuff gets out much faster and just spreads like wildfire. And is there a part where maybe there is people that are involved that want it to get out? I do believe that too. It's the political part of it that's always intrigued me. But Josh Pate was the first to, I think, that kind of set the tone of big media being comfortable with saying, yeah, I think it's over. And he said, he was like, look, I love Napier. I hate to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But it feels like that his time in Florida has come to an end, and it feels like it'll be probably by the end of this week. And I'm going to sidebar here for just a minute because Napier or Pate, in my opinion, is obviously we're a fourth show, so we show our colors. Pate, as I would put into a category of middle ground, although that I know that he's not because he even says during this segment he goes, I play favorites, which is fine, but. I wonder, because obviously if you could look at his playoff list prior to what it is now, and I think college football just has so much parity in it, but how much of him picking Florida and talking about Florida the way that he did was just because he liked Napier and not actually what he believed? I wondered that. I mean, we here at our show, we kind of fall into that trap a little bit too, because obviously of our fandom, but when he was talking about it, I'm like, dude, like if you're hearing he's being fired, like we gotta have a little more, I would say, juice behind it. But I just thought that was interesting. What are your thoughts, though, on Napier and then Graham Hall? Kind of everyone's coming out saying, hey, this could be the end.
What are we waiting on?
Yeah, I don't
Waiting on
know.
the bye week? Like, what are we waiting on? What more we need to see?
I
I
think
think that's
that,
worse for dude, I think that's worse for the players. Because they're hearing it.
yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I thought that was interesting too. Like, hey, you got, but look,
Like, what?
so it happened with Zook. Like Zook, like again, and we all called this guy Zook. Like they knew it was his last game,
Little
and I think that's part of why. Right? Is the locker room buy-in is so strong. They're like, look, dude, like this team loves you. I think we can all understand that it's not going where it needs to go. So we're gonna let you, kind of go out your way. It's gonna, and I also feel like we could be getting bamboozled of, maybe like, hey, let's just not let them get booed. I don't know. It's a very, it is very interesting. It is very interesting to kind of escort him out on his last day.
I actually saw somewhere where they possibly said, "Why don't we just fire him but keep him? Like, keep him for the rest of the season. We're already gonna pay him." And at that point, it's like, I mean, are you really helping your players out any more than what you are with just ripping the Band-Aid off? Like, I know he has, buy-in and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily know if I want a guy that's already been fired around my program.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well just let Russ start calling plays, run Roberts can be the interim or whoever. I mean, it doesn't interim doesn't matter, but you know, the heck, the strength and conditioning coach could be the interim.
Look, I
For
don't
all I
mind him
care.
coaching. I like handing the reins off during the bye week. You give that person 2 weeks essentially, and so I don't mind it. Like hey, like let's try to preserve the season as much as we can. Think about it.
Um,
If Florida makes the change and they can go win out and do something special here, and I think that you're kind of the focus is like, hey, how do we do this thing as smooth as possible? And I'm one. Okay, like we're all playing hypothetical here, but guys, we're I've been reading this incredible book, and it's called Hail Mary. It's if you like, I'm telling you boys, it's the greatest book of all time. But the guy's a scientist and he's got a buddy who's an engineer, and they're constantly problem solving and have theories and thoughts of like how things should go. And that's kind of like I feel like with us on this show sometimes we have a lot of theories. We don't get to test it. We kind of have to wait and see if our theories are true or not. And that's what are obviously they're more of takes than theories because we can't test them. But my theory is that they're looking at the situation of like this team loves Napier and we want to do the right thing by everybody involved as best as we possibly can. And hey Nape, this isn't gonna work, but these guys love you. Let's send you out the right way. Go win one more and the throwback uniforms. Go march out there. It's not gonna be an ugly breakup. It's more of a mutual breakup. You got to see this just as a knit. You're not ready for that. Like I'm guessing. I don't know, but that's just kind of how it feels at this
Dom,
point.
Dom makes a great point. Just trying to get past homecoming. There's a lot of events and stuff like that around homecoming. I could see that too. Maybe just don't want to rip the Band-Aid off homecoming weekend.
And at the spot on, I think that's something I should mention as well too. Is that yes, there's a lot of events. It's a happy time. Parents come home. It's supposed to feel good, and you don't. I mean, even though this is hanging over you, it's not official yet, and so you can kind of still go through your emotions of having this kumbaya moments and having fun without the negativity that's surrounding it. And look, some of you are like negativity. We want Napier gone. I hear you, but keep in mind there's people that are close to this program that genuinely love Napier and are not going to be happy to see him go. Like this is going to be a big ruffle. We're going to have a hell of an offseason talking about all the moves and changes. I mean, you got to think, I mean, it's going to go all the way down to, I would imagine, affecting Katie and Bree and all these people. Like we are going to see a complete overhaul of this team once again. And when I say team, I'm not just talking about the team on the field. I'm talking about the team off the field as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch unfold and how this thing all shakes up. But it's just a very strange situation. And in my time here at Florida, being a Florida fan, I just can't recall it being like this. Like we all knew it was coming for all the coaches, but it always felt abrupt. It personally. Now I wasn't as closely as
Definitely
invested.
Mullen.
No,
Definitely Mullen
yes
felt
and no.
abrupt.
Yes, like we knew it was coming, but yeah, it definitely felt like it was like okay, like it just
Oh,
happened. I felt like, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game, though. And I maybe they'll go win one more for the Augusta. Maybe they'll
yeah,
go out and they'll score a bunch of points against Mississippi State, and it'll be like Billy Napier can ride off into the sunset homecoming weekend, and then we can get on with this ordeal. It does feel like something that has been so locked down and so watertight is starting to spring leaks. With coaching with coaching searches already starting to go on, our evaluations and stuff like that. It's pretty locked down, lock solid. We didn't hear much about him actually the deal actually happening, and it feels like now it's gonna happen regardless of what happens Sunday
there
or
was a
Saturday.
weird. And look, I don't think the decision was made after the A&M game. I think that it was. I think that it
Sat
was.
on,
Yeah, I think it was like in motion, and
all
then we
over.
kept hearing with 5. Like I said, I didn't feel that it was a true number. It just didn't feel right. And I thought again, to me, it was have to win out. And again, how you lost the A&M game, I think was huge. But I think even the Texas win, it didn't feel again the way that game closed. It was just like, look, the same stuff's happening. Even when we win, it wasn't right. And I think that the motions were already put into place from that point on. And there was a weird radio silence that we had for like over a week about the situation. There was. And then after the A&M game is where I think the heat really amped up. And then we even talked about it on Sunday with Allie. She still felt that it was 5. There were still conversations that, yeah, the number was still 5. And then 24 hours later, it was like, no, it's Sunday.
It's now.
So
it's Sunday.
yeah, regardless of the, now, again, I keep in mind, like, there's a weird feeling to me that, like, we could be like a recruitment where it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen at all. But the fact of it is of how everybody, like the Graham Hall article, his article was very intriguing to me. Like, these guys don't come out here and just write this for nothing if they don't feel that
That's what I'm saying. We like in the last 24 hours, there's definitely been a couple articles dropped. It just feels like we're closer than ever.
correct.
Feels like we weren't that close, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden overnight, like
Here we go.
some leaks started to spring leaks in the hull of the ship.
So there's an account on Twitter, which we always joke with. It's called Hoop Shiz. So there's two Twitter accounts. Just so you guys, if you're new
He's
here,
back?
He's back. Yeah, Hoop Shiz and Blue Orange Gator. These guys are like, they're behind an avatar. The way they tweet, they're very aggressive in their tweets. But the way they tweet, like sometimes they're right on weird things. So it's like it's almost like they have sources. Like it's a burner account clearly. And I always joke that it's Dave Solters, which it's not even a joke. I think it is him, but that's besides the point. So this tweet went bananas. This one did. And he's tweeted, guys, keep in mind, he's tweeted some crazy stuff. He's been right on some stuff. He's been wrong on some stuff. He's been tweeted some crazy stuff. So he tweeted, which after all this stuff had kind of unfolding, breaking, Napier to be fired this Sunday, win or lose. Conversations are being held with top candidates. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, via back channels. Lots going on behind the scenes in Gainesville. So that's funny. I wouldn't put any stock into it. Take it with what you will. It's fun it's like a fun little thing. However, Anand Naduri here, who is a Ohio State, he's got some kind of connection with Ohio State, and he former NFL BetGM, Prize Picks guys, like this is where he's worked, I guess. Anyways, he tweeted out that there are things going on behind the scenes in Gainesville. And then he even tweeted, like, if it's me, I'm firing Scott Strickland first. No clue. Like, he started doing his own thing. And he is just speaking on what he is hearing. So what does that even mean? I have no idea. But it is interesting for someone who's not even close to the program. Clearly, and he's an Ohio State guy. He's probably getting carryover from, and that kind of puts me into that category of like a Franklin situation, maybe, because of, the correlation between the two. But I don't know. A lot of interesting stuff. It's cryptic. Look, and somebody even said, like, what is this cryptic nonsense? And he goes, look, part of having sources is waiting for them to tell you when you have the right to release information. If you don't like that, feel free to unfollow. We fall into this category a lot, guys. Dave will text me stuff, and he's like, I'm like, can we talk about it? And I would say 9 out of 10 times I choose not to talk about things because I don't want to come out here and be like, trust me, dude. It just feels weird. Now there's some stuff that I don't like. If the severity of it, in my opinion, doesn't feel like it's that detrimental to something, I'm not a huge fan of talking about possible commits unless it's been talked about a handful of times. The last thing I want to do is be a guy that ruins a kid's commitment. And even the Napier, go ahead.
I would say the sources are usually about 60% right, 65% right. Which is very good. Like in the day of gathering information and especially in college football, very good. If you're over 50%, hey, you're in the black, okay? You're winning. And so it just like we definitely err on the side of the caution. We definitely could break stuff. But not our name of our game. I think we do it right. Hey, when it's already broken, you can't get it wrong.
Yeah, it's much easier. Again, I've never been in the business of breaking news. I just don't. That's a sticky area. It's tough. Like when these guys, some of the players got arrested and stuff, I waited a lot before we kind of did anything. So, Again, everybody is kind of on board here of him being gone. The tweets of there seems to be a sense of celebration happening with people that are following along in this situation. I've got Eddie, who started the Gator Collective. He tweeted out a picture of Marcus Freeman. He's somebody who's well connected. He's a big time booster. Again, he started the Gator Collective. So I'm following tweets. I'm trying to read tea leaves. Again, at the end of the day, these guys, they say what he even retweeted, him being Eddie, retweeted Graham Hall's tweet and said, "Love you, Graham, but this isn't news, at least the new part." And again, that's referring to the article about Napier not being here on Sunday. So these things travel fast, obviously, and everybody is basically confirming without confirming as politically correct way as they can. And so that's where, for me, like what I follow. Like obviously the people that don't have to follow the rules, like a hoop shiz, will come out and just say it. And so I'm always like hesitant when you see those things. Like they're fun. It's when you got the Graham Halls, the big time boosters, the Howls that will tweet it they're smart about how they announce it. And then it's coinciding with what I'm hearing, what I'm tweeting. And then it's like, okay, that's what I try to do. I try to piece the things that we know together. And look, like you said, about 67% of the time it's right. There is the factor though that people's minds change. Like that's what you have to always consider. And so I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that the way, and again, this is why I think that things get released on purpose, because they want to make sure that it's solidified. You don't, like Josh Payton doesn't find out and that Graham Hall doesn't write out about it unless you want it to be out there in main news of like, we want this to be as anchored as possible so they can't back out of it. That's my thoughts.